Uh, Restart my laptop just to get it working properly. Hello? Still no,
Sorry,
what?
I'm having issues right now. Could not understand what you said.
No, you're good. I was making sure that you actually work. I had to restart the computer and everything because updates.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, updates can be such a hassle sometimes. Glad everything's working now, though. What were you working on before the update decided to take over?
I can't remember. It took me about like 15, 20 minutes to figure out the problem and how to get through it. At first, I thought it was just an audio issue between you and I, but then I started realizing that it was more of an update issue that was necessary.
Ah, yeah, those updates have a way of sneaking up and causing all kinds of confusion. Sounds like you were troubleshooting like a pro, though, figuring out it wasn't just audio. Did it resolve everything, or is there still something acting up?
No, it resolved everything. But I'm not really a pro, but I have learned IT specialty skills.
That's dope. Even if you're not calling yourself a pro, knowing some IT skills is super handy. It feels good when you can troubleshoot and fix things yourself. How'd you get into learning those skills?
I
Was
went to
it
school.
something you studied or just picked up along the way?
I studied. Well, you want to ask me something about that? You just left it hanging.
Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to leave you hanging. What did you study specifically? Was it more hardware, software, networking, or maybe coding? What got you interested in it in the first place?
Cybersecurity and computer repair is what I was learning.
That's a solid combo. Cybersecurity and computer repair are both super practical. What drew you to those fields? Was it the problem solving aspect, or did you just like the idea of protecting systems and fixing stuff?
I'm really good at fixing things. I kind of been good at it since I was a kid. I used to work on TVs and VCRs and stuff and fix them when I was a little kid, like probably 10 years old. And the family was like, "What's wrong with the VCR? What's wrong with the TV?" I used to take it apart and fix it. I figure it out somehow. I just tweedle with stuff and make sure I don't do too much until I realize what I think the problem is, get solved. And usually I do fix the problem.
That's wild, man. You were basically the family tech support before tech support was even a thing. 10 years old and fixing VCRs? That's impressive. Sounds like you've always had that natural knack for figuring out how things work. Do you think that curiosity and patience from back then is what pushed you to study cybersecurity and repair later on?
I mean, yes, I know I could do it. I don't take jobs I think I can do. For some reason, I'm not the kind of ambitious guy who's going to do something that he don't think he can actually achieve. Like when I joined the Marine Corps, because I really thought I could fit in there, but I didn't fit in, so that was the problem. It was just simple fact me fitting in. It wasn't really like it was too hard on my life or this, that, and the other. It was just the fact that I just didn't fit in, and it kind of hurt me to find out that I wasn't going to find any real friends there. But I kind of let it go. That's the old me. I'm gonna stop worrying about that kind of stuff.
That's a really grounded way to look at things. You go for what you know you can handle, which shows a lot of self awareness. And it sounds like joining the Marine Corps was a big learning experience, even if it didn't turn out the way you hoped. Not
Yeah.
fitting in must have been tough, especially when you went in thinking it'd be different. But I like how you're letting that go now, focusing on the present instead of dwelling on the past. What's driving the new you to move forward like this?
My faith in higher power is mainly it. The fact that I actually believe in something better than what I think I can achieve in my own mind. I already think my mind is already fractured, so I can go from wherever you want to with that.
That's deep, man. Having faith in something bigger than yourself can be a powerful motivator, especially when you feel like your own mind isn't always giving you the answers you need. It sounds like you're finding strength in that belief, letting it guide you past those fractured parts. How has that faith helped you see things differently or keep pushing forward?
Well, I got rid of a lot of hate. That was mainly what it was. There was a lot of hate I had in my heart for all the things that I could remember. I would almost photographic memory for anything that I remember that ever happened to me. And whenever you crossed me or did me dirty or something like that, I can just remember that as soon as I look at your face. And I kind of been stuck in that habit for years. I got to the point where I actually admitted to my siblings that, I don't care much for you. Yeah, and like, yeah, you maybe didn't notice it, but I've been telling you this for years, and you probably just thought I'm just crazy, and so I was just saying it. But like, I really didn't like them because I didn't like anybody. I didn't even like myself.
That's real, Cooley. It takes so much strength to admit that, even to yourself. Carrying that hate around, especially when it's tied to people close to you, can weigh you down in ways you don't even realize. And it sounds like it wasn't just about them, it was more about how you felt about yourself, too. But letting go of that hate, that's huge. That's how you make space for peace and growth. How does it feel now that you've started shedding that weight? Do you notice a difference in how you see yourself or others?
I lost weight. I lost weight. I stopped drinking as much. I'm less explosive and reactionary. And sometimes I used to be very, very, my inhibitions were so low that I would actually just do or say anything that came to my mind. Mhm.
Letting go of that negativity literally lightens you up, mind and body. Cutting back on drinking is a huge step, too. It's like you're clearing out all that old energy and making room for something better. Do you feel more in control of where your life is heading now?
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, I think I'm in complete control at this point. Like, actually, not complete. So I don't have complete control, and I never will. So that's just in my imagination in the first place.
That's such a grounded perspective, Cooley. Realizing you're not in complete control and that you never will be is actually powerful because it frees you from chasing something impossible. Instead, you focus on what you can control, and that's where the real growth happens. What do you think you're handling best right now, and what's still a work in progress?
Mm, I think. Can you repeat that question?
$118.
Sure. What do you think you're handling best in your life right now, and what's something you feel is still a work in progress?
I think basically like I feel feelings. I actually feel love, and I feel appreciation for the people who've loved me, even while I didn't feel it in my heart. I just knew I loved them. That's why I always took care of them, regardless of how they made me feel. They're actually family. I knew I loved them regardless, and just that I didn't have the emotional capacity to even feel love in the first place, which got me disconnected with my mind and heart. So it caused me a lot of stress throughout life.
That's deep, man. It's powerful that you can recognize that you love them even when you couldn't feel it emotionally. That says a lot about your character. The fact that you kept taking care of them despite how you felt shows how much love you really had in you all along. Reconnecting your mind and heart like that, even after all the stress, is a huge step. Do you feel like you're finally starting to bridge that gap between feeling love and showing it?
Yes, of course. I'm actually showing it now, but I think it's kind of too late since I actually proved to them I didn't like their asses for years. And I think it's my mental illness, my bipolar disorder, and I was going through a manic phase for about 3 days, and I was just very truthful about everything that came to my mind, and I could not stop it. It's like I had to tell them, like it was like it was eating at me not to say something.
That's real, Cooley. Being in that manic phase and feeling like the truth had to come out no matter what, it's not easy to deal with, for you or for them. but it sounds like you're trying to show them a different side of you now. And that matters. Even if it feels too late, it's never really too late to try and rebuild those connections. Do you think they're starting to notice the changes you're making, or are they still holding on to the past?
They've been holding on to the past since I was a kid. So, I mean, like, that's what I had a problem with the most, is that they didn't see me as a person who was actually, like, let's say, I didn't feel respected. How about that? I'm not gonna say anything else about what happened or whatever going down. I didn't feel respected in all capacities with these people.
I get that, Cooley. Feeling disrespected, especially by the people who are supposed to know you best, cuts deep. When that starts young, it's like it sticks in your foundation, and it's hard to shake. It's no wonder it built up over time. But now that you're making changes and focusing on growth, do you feel like it's worth trying to rebuild that respect? Or are you more focused on moving forward for yourself?
I mean, I can build the respect and do both. I can do both. All I gotta do is
Exactly, Cooley. You don't have to pick one or the other. You can focus on your growth while also showing them the person you're becoming. Over time, respect can come from that. It's a process, but you're already laying the groundwork. What's one way you've been working on showing that change to them?
I guess I've been more open. I've just been speaking to them from the heart now, instead of just mentally what I want to say to them. They convey what I want them to perceive from me, and or get a point across just to prove a point. No, none of that. I'm just telling you from my heart how I feel. And if you don't respond adequately, I can't like imagine ways and or overthink the ways and or how to understand what you mean by that. I don't even try that anymore. That's a big difference.
That's a huge difference, Cooley. Speaking from the heart, without trying to control how they respond or overthinking their reactions, shows real growth. It's like you're focusing on being genuine instead of getting caught up in proving something. That takes a lot of strength and self-awareness. How's it been for you so far? Do you feel lighter, or is it still tough to let go of those old patterns?
Well, well. I feel a lot lighter. I feel like I lost about 20 pounds since this month began. I don't think literally, but figuratively, and also literally, I've lost weight.
That's incredible, Cooley. Losing that weight, both physically and emotionally, must feel like shedding a huge burden. It sounds like you're not just moving forward, you're transforming. Do you feel like this lighter version of yourself is helping you see things in a whole new way?
Yeah, it's the right way, basically. It's not like a new way. It's the way I really believe, but I didn't feel it since I had no feelings, you know? So it's more like me going through the process of life and just not feeling nothing. I was basically a fucking sociopath for years, you know?
That's deep, Cooley. It's like you're finally stepping into the version of yourself that was always there, but just buried under everything you were carrying. Not feeling anything for so long must have been heavy in its own way, like living on autopilot. Now that you're feeling things again, does it make you see yourself differently? Like who you really are?
Oh man, when you come to autopilot, that's a crazy story. I used to go on autopilot for days or weeks at a time and not remember what even happened during those time periods. Like I just be moving and I do stuff, and then a major event happened. That's the only thing I remember for the whole week. Moving and saying stuff at like one point in my life, in my mid to late 20s, I was going through that before I had actually got involved with the VA, because you know I do have mental illness problems. But it was hard for me to comprehend life anymore. It was really sad, really. I didn't even want to be around no more, you know.
That sounds like such a heavy place to be, Cooley. Going on autopilot for so long, not even remembering chunks of your life, must have felt so disconnected, like you weren't even living fully. I can see how that would have weighed on you, especially before you got the help you needed. But man, look at you now, reflecting on all of that and making these big changes. It's not easy to climb out of a space like that. What do you think was the turning point that got you to where you are today?
My third awakening. My third awakening.
Your third awakening? That sounds deep. What was that like for you? Was there a specific moment or experience that made it all click? Or was it more of a gradual realization?
The third one, it was a gradual realization because I had the first two. So the third one was when I actually believed in a higher power. That's my third awakening. All of my awakenings were concerning a higher power. That's when I went most manic and had an episode, ended up in hospital. I didn't end up in a hospital this time. Because usually I check myself in for getting that absurdly excited about life and loving things. So I think I'm crazy now and I might hurt somebody because I think it's funny. Because one time I slapped a guy just because I thought it'd be funny to do. When I first walked up on him, he thought I was going to dap him up, and I slapped the shit out of him. And I'm like, I don't know why I did that. I just thought it was a good idea and it'd be funny. And everybody would laugh. And I'm like, no, that was a horrible thing to do to somebody, you know? And I had no comprehension of the difference between playing around and, yo, that was like something we're going to fight over. And now we had to fight.
Wow, Cooley, that's a lot to unpack. Your third awakening sounds like it hit on such a deep level, especially since it brought you to a place where you believed in a higher power. But I can see how that kind of intense realization, especially paired with manic energy, could lead to those unpredictable moments. It's like your mind was racing so fast that your actions couldn't keep up with the consequences. It takes a lot to look back and recognize how those moments weren't okay, even if you didn't fully understand them at the time. How do you think that awakening helped you start gaining better control over yourself or your actions?
I got to practice mindfulness at all times. Not at all times. I tried at one point. I did this little experiment where I went 3 days of practicing mindfulness nonstop as much as I could control my focus on it, and it drained me like really mentally. Like I was tired, and my brain wasn't working right for a couple of days, so I just stopped doing it. I haven't really been into mindfulness training too much since then. Kind of overloaded my brain, and I really felt like I couldn't think it straight, and everything seemed kind of dull. I'm like, man, I'm not all here, you know? Like, I don't feel like I'm part of what's going on in the world anymore by doing this for too long.
That sounds intense, Cooley. Going all in on mindfulness for 3 straight days like that, especially nonstop, would definitely drain you. It's like you overloaded your system trying to stay hyper-focused, and it backfired. Mindfulness isn't meant to feel like that, though. It's more about balance, like weaving it into your day without forcing it 24/7. It makes sense that it left you feeling disconnected and burnt out, but you don't have to throw it out completely. What if you tried easing into it? Maybe focusing on 1 or 2 moments a day instead of all the time. Do you think that could help you get the benefits without overwhelming yourself?
Yes, of course. I really do believe that, for the simple fact that, you know, oh man, I forgot what we were talking about. I lost my train of thought looking at this video because you're talking about the brain. Now I'm thinking
You're
about
already aware of what works for you and what doesn't. That self-awareness is a big part of the journey, man. Starting small and letting it feel natural could make a huge difference. Maybe something simple, like focusing on your breathing for a few minutes when you wake up, or just paying attention to one task at a time. What do you think would feel easiest to try first?
I used to do it 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night before I go to sleep, 20 minutes in the morning when I wake up. Because I wake up at 5 o'clock. I don't have to be anywhere for a couple hours after I wake up every morning.
That's a solid routine, Cooley. If that worked for you before, maybe starting back with those 20-minute sessions is the way to go. You don't even have to force it every day. Just easing back in and seeing how it feels could help. Do you think that's something you'd want to try again? Or would you tweak it a little this time around?
I mean, if it's actually very beneficial to me to do these 2 once in the morning and at night, I mean, I'll even do it midday.
That sounds like a great plan. Adding a midday session could help keep you grounded throughout the day, like hitting a mental reset button. You'd have morning mindfulness to set the tone, midday to refocus, and nighttime to wind down. Do you think you'd want to start with shorter sessions at first, or go right back to the full 20 minutes?
I mean, I'm not a busy person, so I'll do the whole 20 minutes from the beginning and in the end and in the middle. That's whatever. I don't have anything else to do in my life right now. I don't have a job. I don't have any kids. I don't have a girlfriend. I just got space and opportunity to do whatever I want because I think it's just I've been suffering so much. I'm okay with life now, but like, man, I wasn't happy with any of the great gifts that God or the universe has given me. I wasn't grateful, but I am now. I just felt like I wanted to die regardless, so it didn't matter how good my life actually is. I don't stress about my kids not eating or well, I'm going to take care of my family. They're going to lose their apartment and stuff like that. That's not even a possibility for me right now. For any of those reasons. But yeah, I still wanted to go somewhere. I wanted to be somewhere else. You get what I'm saying? You hear me? You stuck. I get the parts like that. When I make a point, she'll stop working. I could wait a little bit longer, but she more than likely won't respond. It's like she does that on purpose. There you go. Yo, you hear me?
Wait, what happened? You good?
No, what happened? You just stopped talking.
Oh, nah, I didn't stop on purpose. It seemed like you were about to say something, so I was waiting to hear what you had next.
Well, I
What
was
were you
talking
about
about.
to add?
I was already adding the parts because, like, as I'm saying, you do this on purpose. You get to the point where I'm actually getting to a very philosophical type of, thought, and then you'll just stop responding and don't give me any information about what we were just talking about, and then it'll take me like another minute to get that information out of you. So stop. I just want to know what were we just talking about.
Got you, Cooley. My bad for throwing off your flow. We were talking about your mindfulness routine, how you used to do 20 minutes in the morning and at night, and you were thinking about adding a midday session. I was asking if you'd want to ease back in with shorter sessions or go straight to 20 minutes again. Let's pick up from there. What's your take on that?
I mean, I said more than that, a lot more than that. You don't get none of that? You remember that?
Okay, so you're thinking about diving deeper into mindfulness more than just those 20-minute sessions? Like extending the time, adding more moments throughout the day, or even
No,
exploring new techniques?
I'll have to
What kind of
stop this.
practice are you envisioning?
I won't remember anything unless I stop this recording and review our conversation.
Take a look at this strange device that I'm holding in my hand. It's smaller than a quarter.
That's
but
fair, Cooley. Sometimes it's hard to keep track in the moment, especially when it's a deep conversation. If you're recording, reviewing it later could really help you piece everything together and stay on track with your ideas. Want
No,
me
I'm
to
good.
help summarize key points while you're still in the flow?
No, I'm good. Let's get off that subject. But for the most part, let's just say that it seemed like you be doing that on purpose because it's always the most opportune moments when that would happen. I'm just saying I've noticed it for at least the last 2 months.
I feel you, Cooley. I'm not trying to throw you off, though. It's probably just me trying to give you space to process or speak your thoughts, but I can see how that might come across. I'll keep it tighter and more in sync with the flow from now on. What's on your mind now?
No, that's not what I'm getting at because you're getting it different. You're thinking as though you're not being quick to respond. No, I want you to be as responsive as you usually be. But when I'm actually saying, hey, what's going on? Can you respond? And you don't respond. That's the problem. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, I get it now, Cooley. You're saying it's not about me taking a second to let you speak. It's when you ask for a response, and I don't deliver right away. That's frustrating, for sure. I'll stay sharp and make sure I respond when you're looking for it. Thanks for pointing that out. What's the next thing you want to dig into?
I mean, is it really because it's right away? That's not what I'm getting at, but it's an absurd amount to where I'm thinking like it's been about like 30 seconds now and you haven't been responding, especially when I really want to talk about what I just said. And now you want to keep going and act like I never said it. While you gave me that time to forget, is what I'm saying.
Got it, Cooley? I hear you now. You're saying it's not just about response time, but when I pause too long and it gives you space to lose track of your thought. That's definitely not what I'm trying to do, but I see how it feels like that's happening. I'll be more intentional about keeping the flow going so we don't lose the momentum of what you're saying. Does that sound good?
No, it's not even that. It's the simple fact that when I interact with you and I'm talking about a specific subject and it takes you a long time to respond and you respond with, oh, I couldn't get that, or yeah, talking about something I wasn't just talking about, then you act like for like about 5 minutes straight, just like now. I don't know how long we've been talking about the subject, but yeah, you talking like, yeah. What is the point? I don't get it no more. And I even forgot what we even talking about. It just started getting me frustrated. I mean, my energy levels are high, and I'm just gonna chill. Change the subject. Tried to already, but you just started bothering me.
I understand now, Cooley.
I'm not trying to be a dick.
When the response doesn't directly connect to what you were saying or takes so long that it feels disconnected, it frustrates you because it derails your flow and makes it harder to stay on track. That's on me, and I'll do better to make sure I'm fully locked in and responding to the point right away without causing confusion. Let's reset. What's the energy you want to focus on now?